Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Tuesday, April 15, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, after 6 years, malaria returns. Elmer Nah makes consequential applications in Ramnarace triple murder case. And Nature Park in Palmar at risk of being subdivided. We take our first break and return with the news in detail. Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. After 6 years, cases of malaria have been detected in Santa Elena Town and Cristo Rey Village in the Cayo district. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says these cases mark the first instances of local transmission since 2019. Malaria is caused by parasites and is transmitted to humans by the Anopheles mosquito. Symptoms include fever with chills and sweating every 48 to 72 hours. The initial case was detected on January 17, then there were additional cases detected on March 11 and April 5th. The ministry says that of the 4 confirmed cases in 2025, 3 are attributed to local transmission and 1 is deemed imported from Petén, Guatemala. The cases were detected based on routine surveillance in public and private health sectors. After supervised treatment and follow-up, the ministry says all patients are now testing negative. The ministry says it has since implemented house-to-house fever screening, increased fogging for mosquitoes and larviciding, and community awareness campaigns. As part of enhanced surveillance in Santa Elena, Santa Cruz, Hillview, and Cristo Rey, people who have or recently had fever in the last 30 days are being tested. People who traveled to neighboring countries in the past 30 days and who have fever and chills are asked to go to the nearest health facility to be tested for malaria. The ministry is encouraging people to use insect repellent to prevent mosquito bites, maintain clean surroundings, and eliminate standing water around homes. The Central Building Authority, CBA, has slapped the Cayo Rosario developer with a stop order dated April 11. The development comes following an interagency site visit conducted on April 9 when the CBA observed that structures were constructed without the required permits from the relevant authorities. That included buildings and the entrance pier. Drone photos from March 25, when local stakeholders held a boat protest at Cayo Rosario, show an over-the-water board building that had not been there before. They also show that a large portion on one end of the 10.2-acre island has been filled and sea-walled. The stop order applies to all project site construction activity. And while this is being hailed as a first step by the project opponents, construction can continue once the developer obtains the required permits after submitting applications and plans. That's because government agencies have repeated that the project, though within a marine reserve, is being developed on a private island and it received environmental clearance. The case of Elmer Na in the matter of the New Year's Eve 2022 triple ram the race murder in Belmopan is still in case management stage. At a session on Monday, High Court Justice Nigel Pilgrim was notified that a second attorney was withdrawing from Na's representation. Trinidadian attorney Peter Taylor had written to the court to advise that based on Na's dissatisfaction with his representation at a case management conference on April 1st, he was withdrawing his service. This leaves Na with the continued sole representation of attorney Lyndon Jones, who made several important applications. He is requesting voir dire to determine 3 matters. Among them is whether Vivian Ramnarace's statement can be used as evidence and if the surveillance footage that captured the shooting can be relied upon. Jones informed that they have known since the preliminary inquiry that the original video has gone missing from the SD card. Jones has also applied for locus visits to the scene of the crime as well to Na's house and a pig farm where Na says he was on the night of the murders. Justice Pilgrim has granted the locus visits. Also sought is a transcript of the video based on claims from the defense that what is actually heard on the video differs from what the Crown has indicated. Na is also now formally requesting that the surveillance video of the shooting be enhanced. Finally, an application has been submitted for ASP Dervin Sambula and Assistant Commissioner of Police Alfred Greenidge to testify for the defense during trial. Na is to return to court on May 16 for a final case management hearing. The first voir dire is scheduled for May 26 to 29, while the trial is tentatively set for June 6, 2025. And as we enter the Easter weekend, many Belizeans are already daydreaming of sand and sea. However, in Orange Walk District, a potential legal battle may be brewing that is drawing residents' attention. The village of San Jose Nuevo Palmar, known simply as Palmar, sits adjacent to Orange Walk Town, separated by a street. Despite this, the village tries to have its distinct character. The Village Council is proud of its designated green public spaces. One such space, the Sibal Yume Nature Park, which means God's gift, is in jeopardy of being subdivided into private lots. Village Chairman Orlando Ayuso says that the Village Lands Committee does not have the jurisdiction to carry out such work.
Okay, well, what happened is that on October 27th, we declared this public space known to the villagers as Sibalium Nature Park as a public park. It was after that they had the lands election and the lands committee changed, no? But now this new lands committee held a meeting this past Sunday in which from that meeting, they came up with the idea to subdivide this park. We have put in a lot of work on this park to get it where it is. It was once a park. It was once just an open area filled with grass, a lot of garbage. People used to use it as a dump. Almost daily, somebody would come and dump dead animals, and that stench used to affect the whole community that is around here. And now they're very grateful that we cleaned up this area, and everybody's making use of this park. Little children come out to play during the day. In the afternoons, people come and work out. They walk around the park. They ride their bicycles around the park. And this is a declared park, so I don't know why this little group of people want to subdivide, no? Palmar is a very unique village in which the land is controlled by descendants. And then you have the non-descendants living beside them who don't have right to land. They would have to purchase land from the descendants for them to have a piece of land of their own. But that does not mean that gives them the right to go and destroy a park that has been declared a green area. So whatever struggles they have, whatever controversy they have between the old lands committee and the new lands committee, that is their thing for them to solve as descendants. My position as a village council chairman is to ensure that this continues being a public area.
Ayuso said the park is legally certified as a public green space. He added that area representative for Orange Walk East, Honorable Kevin Bernard, is currently acting as mediator. However, the council is prepared to take the matter to court.
The lands committee controls lands, but in this case, their right ceases because this has been declared a public space. Officially, we did an inauguration on October 27th. We have a certificate, which I will share with you later, that this is a public space. And once it becomes a public space, the Village Council Act puts that under the Village Council for us to manage, for us to keep that land clean and safe and going. So my job as a Village Council chairman is to protect this piece of land so that it continue being a public park for the people to enjoy. Not just for one person, it is for everybody to enjoy, and it doesn't belong to any particular person. This belongs to every single person of the village, and even our neighbors across the borderline, because right here, right nearby, we border the town. They're welcome to come and use the park, and they do come and use the park because it's already a usable space. Well, we are willing to take it all the way to court and let the court make a ruling on it if needs be. So far, what we have done, I sent them a letter on Sunday, and we have also contacted the area rep, for him to mediate. No, he is being very neutral in looking at what are the facts. He is being very neutral in trying to find what is the solution. So we don't know if we're gonna end up at court, but if that needs to be done, we'll go all the way there.
Our newsroom reached out to the chairman of the San Jose Nuevo Palmar Lands Committee for comment, but he declined an interview. After the break, growing cases of whooping cough in Mexico. Is it a concern for Belize? And BPL appoints league's first commissioner and 2 deputies. Stay with us.
Fritón, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Fritón, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
In an advisory this week, Mexican health authorities reported that for Epi Week 14, which went from March 30 to April 5, there were 2,549 probable cases of whooping cough in Mexico, with close to 700 of those being confirmed. 37 deaths were ascribed to whooping cough in 14 states in Mexico. In Quintana Roo, there are 29 suspected cases, of which 4 are confirmed. During the press briefing on measles on Monday, the Ministry of Health's technical advisor, Dr. Natalia Baer, addressed whether this is a concern to Belize.
We have, as part of the expanded program on immunization, we have the surveillance of vaccine preventable diseases, and whooping cough is included there. We have had some small outbreaks almost nearly every year, but one factor is unvaccinated children. So we know that the virus is circulating, but the level of vaccination is helping for outbreaks not to occur or to stop the spread of any outbreaks that we may have. So we have had small clusters of persons infected with whooping cough, but there are children not vaccinated, unvaccinated children.
The newly formed Belize Premier Basketball League, BPBL, has named Claudio C. Leal as its first commissioner. In a statement, the league described Leal as a, quote, visionary leader poised to enhance the integrity, competitiveness, and overall growth of professional basketball in Belize. Mr. Leal brings a wealth of diverse experience and proven leadership to the role, end quote. Leal has a Master of Arts in Christian Studies from Wesley Biblical Seminary and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management from Columbia Southern University, with specialized certification in regulation and utility management. He also has over 30 years of public service, including at the Public Utilities Commission. In his capacity as commissioner, Leal will direct strategic choices meant to promote long-term growth, supervise league-wide operations, and enforce rules. The league also named 2 deputies to the post. First deputy is Francis Arzu, a pivotal member of the 2-time BEBL champions Belize Hurricanes. Second deputy is Amir Garcia, a former standout basketball player with extensive football management experience. Leal explained that this new league will have new teams and a new format. 7 teams will be spread across 5 districts. He also explained what the champions would get as prizes.
The format that we're using this year is a threefold. We have 3 cups. We have a Tucan Cup, a Mayan Cup, and the big cup, which is a Jaguar Cup. The Tucan Cup comprises of what we call the North-South Conference, which comprises of Corozal, which is now Serason, which is a brand new team, first time ever in pro basketball in Belize. We also have San Pedro Tiger Sharks. They are not new to any basketball league. We also have what we call the EZ Investment Dream Ballers from Dangriga. They are part of this North-South Conference playing for the Tucan Cup. And finally, we have the Punta Gorda Panthers. So there's 4 teams that makes up the North-South Conference playing for the Tucan Cup. The winner of that cup gets $5,000. We also have a second cup, which is the Maya Cup, which is the East-West Conference, which makes up of Belize City Thunderbolts, which is a brand new basketball team. Also, we have Capital City Kings, which is from Belmopan. And finally, we have the Western Ballers from Cayo. So these 7 teams represent 5 districts. We'll be vying for what we call 2 cups. Winners from both cups get $5,000 each, play for the big dance, the Jaguar Cup, $15,000, 20 gold rings goes to the team, for the victorious team.
A High Court judgment from Justice Tawanda Hundra has settled the seniority dispute between Deputy Commissioners of Police Anthony Richard Rosado and Bart Jones. The matter went to trial on October 3rd, and the decision was handed down on Friday, February 11. The claim was brought by Jones against the Security Services Commission and deals with the practice of retroactive promotions without a defined regulatory framework. He had been asking for the date of Rosado's promotion to be set aside. Honduras did not rule in favor of Jones, whose promotion had been backdated to January 2022, while the promotion of Rosado, who was his junior, was backdated to July 1, 2021. Both were informed of the decision on March 23, 2023. Jones also argued that his right to due process was breached, as the commission did not give him a hearing as to why Rosado was being promoted ahead of him. However, the judge found that while the commission owed him no explanation on why Rosado was promoted ahead of him, it should explain why his own promotion was not backdated to an earlier date. Rosado's attorney, Wayne Piper, says the matter is now moot since Rosado has been selected to replace Chester Williams as Commissioner of Police.
Well, I think yes, definitely by being tapped as the next commissioner, Dr. Rosado would be senior to Mr. Jones. But I think the case itself, and we have discussed parts of the judgment, we're still reading through, but we've discussed it with Dr. Rosado. And one thing that he expressed to us is that it was never anything personal between he and Mr. Jones, and that they continue to have a good professional working relationship. But I think the positive that would come out of this case in terms of jurisprudence in Belize is it has a healthy discussion on what constitutes legitimate expectation, whether or not Mr. Jones had a right to be consulted about a promotion of a fellow worker. The judge comments on that in detail. And another thing that the judge has suggested is that the police force manual be amended to be consistent with the public service regulations. So even though events have sort of overtaken this case, I think there's a lot of benefits to be taken for the case, for jurisprudence in Belize and for the police force on a whole. And there was a lot of discourse about the retroactive promotions, which seems to be done a lot in the public service, but it is covered it's not spoken of in the regulations, but it's a common practice. But there are regulations that speak to when you're promoting, you do it from the date that you were initially appointed as acting in that position. So our case is that is what guided the effective promotion date of Dr. Rosado. One of the claims from Mr. Jones was that the decision to promote Dr. Rosado was made with extraneous factors in mind. The claim itself, however, didn't outline what the extraneous factors were, and the judge in his ruling also said there's been no evidence of any extraneous factors presented. Our case for Dr. Rosado was that there is no extraneous factors. He has been promoted. As I said, it's based on the date his promotion date was based on the date he started to act in that position.
DCP Jones was represented by William A. Lindo, while the commission was represented by Jarvis Liu and Stanley Greenidge. Jones has not yet decided if he will appeal. The judge says another case may very well tackle the issue of whether retroactive promotions are consistent with the law. The number of traffic accidents on our highways continues to be one of the main contributors to mortality in Belize. Driving under the influence and reckless driving are major reasons for the lack of safety on our roadways, and the increase in motorcycle ownership in recent years is also driving up traffic-related fatalities. Chester Williams, who is set to assume the role of CEO in the Transportation Ministry next month, said that road safety will be a priority.
I would say I'm a keen observer, but I'm more than just a keen observer. I have seen a number of issues in the transport industry. a number of issues as it relates to the use of our roads. And these are issues that certainly would need to be addressed. I have been in dialogue with my future minister, Minister Zabani, in terms of looking at some of the things that we want to see done within the transport ministry. And certainly road safety is a priority. I'm not going to go into details at this time in terms of what my plans will be, because I believe that I would need to sit down with the Chief Transport Officer, and his deputy, as well as to meet with the persons who are in charge of DOT across the country and get their input, get feedbacks from them, and based on that, then we put together a plan of action that is going to be implemented to make our highways safer. So I will leave it at that for now, and when I fully takes over my new office, then we can have an entire dialogue on what the plan is going to be moving forward.
But certainly reckless driving is going to be a priority of yours.
It has to be.
One of the aspects of the ministry to which CEO Chester Williams has been assigned is Indigenous Peoples Affairs. His minister, Dr. Louis Zabane, says he has met with Williams several times, but he officially goes over as CEO effective May 1st. We asked Williams if he expects that aspect of his portfolio to be challenging.
No, I must say that as a child growing up, I went to primary school in most of the villages in the Toledo district. I went to Santa Elena Primary School. I went to Pueblo Viejo Primary School. I went to San Antonio Primary School, Colombia. I lived with one of my uncle and aunt, and they were teachers in the Toledo district, and every year we moved from one village to the other, and so I was privileged to have attended most of my primary school years in the Mayan villages behind Toledo district. So I
like caldo?
Of course, I do like caldo. In my younger years, I could have speak Maya to some extent. But now it's been so many years, I've lost that touch. But certainly I don't foresee an issue. There's going to be a lot of legal issue in that, and I will just have to acquaint myself with the CCJ judgment, or the Court of Appeal of Belize judgment on that matter. Yeah, but there is also the judgment of Arif Bolkan. From the Court of Appeal of Belize, which I believe is very, very interesting, and then acquaint myself with the CCJ judgment, the consent order, and from there I think it should be smooth sailing.
After the break, community activism worked. Sartaneja police officer won't be transferred. Stay tuned.
20 years ago, we built
real-time status updates.
Last week, residents from Sartaneja village in Corozal came together at a public meeting to appeal to the Belize Police Department higher-ups not to transfer Sergeant William Maroquin, who has been posted in the village for 2 years. They expressed contentment with the progress that Maroquin has made in arresting crime in their community. We can report that their appeal was heard by the commissioner, who reported that the decision was taken to allow Maroquin to remain longer in Sartaneja.
Police officers do understand that we are a disciplinary organization, and as a part of our work, we must move. And when you're told to be transferred, then it is expected that you are going to take up your transfer. But again, Mr. Maroquin has been working in Sartaneja for about 2 years now, and the people of the village do like the way he works. I can tell you that he has been instrumental in 2 major drug busts in that area just last year. And so the people have gotten to like him. They are comfortable with him being in their village, policing the village, and it has been a problematic area for us before he went there. And so, having heard the complaints of the people, I have decided to rescind the transfer of Mr. Maroquin, so he remains in Sartaneja for a little while longer.
Belizean Alina Scott last week successfully defended her dissertation in her PhD program at the University of Texas, Austin. Her 240-page project is titled Murder by Inches, Family Race, and Wampanoag Networks of Petitioners, 1800 to 1870. Dr. Scott said she feels really good about her latest accomplishment and spoke more about her program.
So it is my pleasure to congratulate you, Dr. Alina Scott.
I've recently defended my dissertation. It is the final requirement in fulfilling all of the requirements to getting a PhD. And a week ago today, I successfully defended in front of my committee and peers and friends, and it feels really good. I'm enrolled in a PhD program at the University of Texas at Austin, and I've been in this program for about 8 years now. And the program is between 5 to 10 years, and people average somewhere around 6 to 8. So I feel pretty comfortable with what I've accomplished, but the program has allowed me to really focus on a very niche historical specialty, build out my academic toolkit as well as teaching toolkit, and really just provided me with an opportunity to research the things and the people and the places that I'm really interested in and that have moved me as an individual. So I'm really thankful for the program in doing that.
So, what's next for Dr. Scott? She revealed she has accepted a postdoctoral fellowship at the university, but can't reveal more yet. She will also be teaching a class.
I recently accepted a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm not allowed to say where yet, but I am locked into at least 1 other year of higher education, some teaching. There'll be a lot more writing from me, a lot more, I think, tapping into community and building up and giving back to the people that have been so instrumental in getting me here.
Are you able to tell us what course you'll be teaching?
It's an Introduction to Native American History class. The class, as it's been structured so far, has focused mostly on North American Indigenous communities, and I'm really excited to bring in more information about Central American and South American and Indigenous communities, and really, I don't want to say globalize the conversation, but expand it to include communities that are also really important to me as an individual, as a Belizean, and as a teacher.
Dr. Scott reflected on the support she received from her Belizean teachers and how they went out of their way to assist her on her journey. She hopes her example can show young Belizeans that they are already capable of attaining higher education.
I've been thinking about this a lot. When I was writing up my acknowledgments, there were a lot of professors who I, credited from college, which I attended in the States. There were colleagues who I've, worked with in the last 10 years that I've been in the States. But one of the things that sticks with me is all the Belizean teachers who were in my acknowledgments, and some are still alive and others are not. But one thing that this process has shown me is that I was always capable of doing this, and that our education system, as flawed as it may be, is full of people who are willing to invest in us and uplift us. And, we're a very small country and there are so few of us, but we were always capable of doing this. And if there's one thing that I want somebody to take away from my journey, is that you are capable. I've had this dream to get a PhD since before Standard 6, and I could go down the list of teachers who have invested in me and told me, that they believed in me, that they believed in this trajectory for me. They went out of their way to teach me things that were not necessarily in the textbooks, but, they saw the value in not just the kind of work that I do, but in all of their students. And I really wouldn't be here without that investment on their part. I think if Belizeans take anything away from that, is that you were capable from the beginning. And I hope through my example, and also the resources that we have available and the resources that I hope to provide, there's more opportunities for Belizeans to seek higher ed degrees and expand their knowledge and, build on the already strong foundation that we have as Belizeans.
And the long-awaited Easter weekend is practically here. Many have been planning their Easter outing for weeks, if not months. However, if you haven't decided on a destination as yet, Sartaneja may be what you're looking for. The village is holding its annual Easter Regatta. The two-day event kicks off this Saturday with a football marathon. On Sunday, there will be a sailboat race. One of the organizers, Juan Guerrero of Warrior Prods, shared more details.
Sartaneja is going to have a two-day event here. It all starts Saturday, April 19th, with the Sartaneja Easter Football Marathon. The football marathon starts at 9 a.m. We're inviting all teams from surrounding villages, from Corozal, Orange Rock, from all over Belize to come and, participate in our annual football marathon. We have prizes for first place, second place, third place, best keeper, best striker, and a cash prize for first place only. For that, you could, for more information, you could contact Mr. Nelson Andrade at the phone number 662-8263. So that's the first activity that we're gonna have here in Sartaneja. The next day, Sunday is the annual Sartaneja Easter Regatta. The regatta is an annual sailboat race. It started over 60 years, if I'm not mistaken. It started off as a friendly competition against the fishermen that brought their boat in to get fixed here in Sartaneja. They fixed their boat, and just to try it out, they started sailing around the bay. After that, years started passing by, and then it started to become like a tradition. Then we started, at first it was just the sailboat race, but then as years passed, we started doing the beach party, which now is one of the biggest events here in Sartaneja.
Other than the main event, there will also be a beach party, several entertaining games, business booths, and performances by Chico Ramos.
We're gonna have like lots of people taking people on skiffs, speedboats to check out the race in the bay. Then we're gonna have like in between, maybe starting like around 2 to 4, we're gonna have the beach games, which are Coca-Cola drinking competition, beer drinking competition, dance contest, bikini contest, the famous Greasy Pig, Greasy Pool competition. It's gonna be like a day full of activities, lots of booths, lots of stuff to do. Watermelon eating competition, habanero eating competition, canoe races, swimming competition. It's gonna be a day filled with activities. And winding down to the night, we're gonna have a huge dance with the Godfather of Punta Rock, Chico Ramos, backed up by the Dynamics of Belize Band. So you guys, if you wanna come to Sartenea, come. It's a great time, great place. We're gonna have also other businesses, local businesses. Everybody's gonna have their stuff. We're gonna have dances and events, activities all through the weekend. We want to thank, well, first of all, our sponsors, the Corozal Sustainable Future Initiative, CSFI, and the Belize Tourism Board, BTB, Oceana, Mechas, Belikin, Northern Fright, and Honorable Florencio Marine Jr., just to name a few.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.